Senator Baldwin, and I turn the gavel to Senator Sullivan.
Thank you, Senator Blackburn. I am going to yield a few seconds to Senator Moreno to correct the record.
Sure. No, not to correct the record. I just wanted to, Senator Lujan brought up an issue about the families not being able to meet with Secretary Duffy. So I took the opportunity to step outside and called the secretary. He gave me his chief's cell phone number. So for the families, he's expecting your call. If you could call him at your convenience, and the secretary is more than happy to meet with you. So I'll hand this to whoever the family representative is so that we can get that meeting scheduled. And he obviously is wanting to do that as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bedford, thank you for being here today. Thank you for the opportunity to meet with you ahead of this hearing to learn more about your priorities for the FAA. As the senator representing Wisconsin on this committee, I would be remiss if I didn't mention how disheartened I was to read about some of your past comments about Milwaukee. It has been reported that you told a group of investors that, quote, "I don't care how cheap you make it, you don't go there unless you have to." Mr. Bedford, couldn't be more wrong on that account. And if confirmed, I invite you to Milwaukee to come see for yourself all that the city and the state of Wisconsin has to offer. One of the FAA's most successful partnerships is the Contract Tower program. 265 smaller airports participate in this important air traffic safety program, including 9 in my state of Wisconsin. These towers support rural air service and flight schools across the country, as well as DoD flight training operations and military readiness. What assurances can you give us today that contract towers will be a high priority for you if you're confirmed?
Well, thank you for the question, Senator Baldwin, and thank you for the courtesy of the time in your office. I'm going to push back strongly on that quote. I don't know where that came from, because I've got 2 Marquette graduates back here that are going to be very unhappy if I let that stand in the record. I love Milwaukee. I've spent a lot of time in Milwaukee. You know, we tried to save Midwest Airlines in Milwaukee. Right. It was a brutal competitive environment. And unfortunately, Milwaukee has lost a lot of direct service as a result of that. We used to have service to Omaha and Duluth and Eau Claire and
That's how I got to Washington, D.C. as a member of the House, so through Milwaukee.
You know, I would love to see a resurgence of opportunity in Milwaukee. So I'm not sure where that quote came from. Maybe I was drinking. I apologize. Contract towers, I utilize them frequently. You know, it's my own flight training. I'm flying in places like Anderson, Indiana, Muncie, Indiana, and they're all contract towers. So when you think about the fact that we've got thousands and thousands of student pilots, they rely on these contract towers almost exclusively for their flight training. So they're a very vital component of the ecosystem here in the United States.
Thank you. Last Congress, I was proud to author provisions in the Federal Aviation Administration Authorization Act that strengthen protections for air travelers with disabilities, many of whom are our nation's veterans. The law includes provisions from my Air Carrier Access Amendments Act to ensure that airplanes are designed to accommodate people with disabilities and that airlines meet accessibility standards, including for individuals who use wheelchairs. Will you commit to enforcing these measures and to working with us to continue to improve passenger safety for all Americans, including those with disabilities?
Thank you for the question, Senator Baldwin. If it's the law, of course, we'll enforce it. But I want to tell you that I think I may have shared with you in your office, and I certainly had this conversation with Ranking Member Duckworth. We've had firsthand family experience with mobility challenges when our daughter suffered a spinal cord stroke that rendered her a quadriplegic. So thankfully, by the grace of God, she's recovered about 85% of her mobility. But we absolutely understand. My wife, Maria, runs a foundation that helps people with mobility issues, providing them wheelchair accessible vans, you know, home upgrades for handicap accessibility. I mean, so this is an issue near and dear to our hearts.
I appreciate that. Last question, improving recruitment and retention in aviation workforce needs to be a top priority in the FAA, and pilots are a vital piece of that workforce. We talked about this yesterday. We discussed my Flight Education Access Act that I sponsor with, it's a bipartisan bill that Senator Sullivan is a co-sponsor of. It's aimed at increasing student loan limits for students in flight training programs to help make pilots' careers more accessible by addressing the high cost of flight education and training while maintaining our standards for safety. So if confirmed, what strategies will you implement to increase the pipeline of qualified pilots?
Well, thank you for the question. We absolutely have had workforce shortages. Pilots have been critical, but also maintenance technicians. So there's a lot of work to do here to convince young people that these are valuable careers, transformational careers where you don't have to spend, time in college. Absolutely, and we've worked together on granting issues and trying to, get our military veterans an opportunity to come into these transformational careers. So I would love to continue to work with you on that. Thank
you, I appreciate that. Next is Senator Sullivan.
Thank you, Senator Baldwin. I think I'm chairing, and I'm going to call on myself. Mr. Bedford, thank you for being here. Thank you for your willingness to serve. I appreciate our meeting the other day.